this isn't just any man, this is goddamn Tommy Shelby, and that alone carries weight. It always carries weight. Sometimes the story doesn't end, it just refuses to die. Now that's the energy that Peaky Blinders returns with in The Immortal Man, a film that tries to resurrect the myth of Tommy Shelby against the backdrop of World War II, but not without consequence. Now this one is set in a bomb-scarred Birmingham, the story following Tommy stepping back into the shadows for what feels like a one last job, but this time he's tangled in secret wartime operations inspired by real events. It's heavier, it's more reflective, and it's undeniably grander in scale, but whether that scale works is where things get complicated. Now let's start with the undeniable. Murphy, he doesn't just return, he glides back into that role. The trench coat, the stare, the silence that says more than dialogue ever could. You can feel it, there's definitely a deeper melancholy here, a more spiritual edge to Tommy. He feels like a man haunted not just by his past, but by the weight of everything he survived, and yet the swagger is still there. You can take the man out of the war, but you can't take the war out of the man. There's a moment, no spoilers, that feels tailor-made for internet legend status. I mean, I love this scene. Horseback, smoke curling, pure Shelby aura. You'll know it when you see it, you'll know it. Now, did you know that the film draws loosely from real covert operations in Britain during World War II, therefore grounding Tommy's mission in historical reality rather than pure fiction? But here's where the cracks begin to show. The film feels emptier than it should, not because of who's there, but because of who isn't. The absence of key figures from the original series is impossible to ignore, and it shifts the entire emotional core. This one doesn't quite feel like the same family story. It feels like a film based on Peaky Blinders rather than a true continuation of it. Now, some cast absences weren't creative decisions, they were unavoidable due to scheduling conflicts and prior story outcomes from the series. Now, the plot itself leans into familiar territory, a man pulled out of isolation to confront his past and protect the next generation. It's not groundbreaking, we've seen the structure before, but then again, this isn't just any man, this is goddamn Tommy Shelby, and that alone carries weight, it always carries weight. But look, the pacing struggles, the first half drifts, and the second half never quite ignites. There's moments that should land with impact, but they feel rushed, while others linger too long without any final payoff. The tension, the signature heartbeat of the original show never fully kicks in. There's also a bigger question hanging over everything. Did the story need to be told? For many, the ending of season 6 already felt like a perfect send-off, a quiet, powerful conclusion to one of television's most compelling anti-heroes. Reopening that chapter was always a risk, and The Immortal Man doesn't entirely justify it. But here's a fact that might blow you away. Now, at its peak, Peaky Blinders, no pun intended, became one of the most streamed British dramas globally, influencing fashion, music and pop culture far beyond the UK, making its legacy arguably bigger than the story itself. Now, visually, the film still carries that signature style, slow motion walks, sharp tailoring and smoke-filled frames, but it feels slightly artificial this time round, like it's recreating something rather than evolving it, and that's the core issue for me. The film has the look of Peaky Blinders, it has the lead of Peaky Blinders, but it doesn't always have the soul of Peaky Blinders. So where does that leave us? Now, if you're a die-hard fan, there's enough here to appreciate, mainly through Murphy's performance and a handful of standout moments. But if you're expecting a powerful definitive finale, this doesn't quite cut the mustard. It's more like an epilogue that didn't need writing. So in the end, The Immortal Man doesn't ruin the legacy of Peaky Blinders, but it doesn't elevate it either. And sometimes, especially with something like this iconic, the boldest move is knowing when to walk away. So I give Peaky Blinders The Immortal Man a smiles and cry. I'm sorry about this, guys. 5.5. Okay, 6 out of 10. It gets that extra half just because there are some outstanding moments. Like I say, that horseback scene. So I'm sticking with it. I'm not deviating. It's a 6 out of 10. Adios, pals. I'll see you for the next one. Take care.